Case 4, the motel room mirror. There's a rule in roadside motels: never take the first room they offer. The story you're about to hear came from a truck driver named Louis Brandt. He'd been on the road for 26 hours, chasing freight deadlines across Utah's back highways. He only wanted sleep, but what waited inside that room was already watching him. The clerk was the only person there, a woman who never made eye contact. She slid the key across the counter and said, "Room 6. Don't worry about the mirror. Management's working on it." Louis laughed it off. He thought she meant a crack or bad frame. The room smelled of bleach and something sweet, like stale perfume. The mirror over the dresser stretched nearly wall to wall, too large for a budget room. It felt out of place. A sticker at the corner read "Property of Westview Motels LLC," but this wasn't a Westview. Louis woke to the sound of static. The TV was on, white noise flickering, even though he'd pulled the plug earlier. When he stood, the static stopped. The mirror across the room shimmered, as if it had caught lightning in glass. He moved closer, and realized the reflection lagged by half a second. His movements repeated slightly after he made them, like a bad video feed. He pressed a finger to the surface. Warm. Not like glass, like the back of a TV screen. "Probably two-way glass," he muttered. He grabbed his phone, opened flashlight mode, and angled it along the mirror's edge. Behind the glass, tiny holes formed a pattern, ventilation, maybe, or a lens grid. Heart racing, Louis placed a towel over the mirror and went back to bed. But the towel kept slipping, like someone tugged it from the other side. He confronted the clerk. "What's with the mirror in 6? Her hand froze mid-register. "Maintenance issue," she said softly. "We don't rent that room." "Who gave you the key?" Louis blinked. "You did." But when he looked at her name tag, it wasn't the same woman. "Sir, we haven't had night staff here for 2 weeks," she said. She took the key, frowned. "This isn't one of ours." They opened room 6 together. The bed was stripped, curtains gone, mirror removed, bare wall showing only screw holes and a power outlet behind where the mirror had hung. Inside the outlet box, a small black cable snipped clean. The manager filed a report. Police came, said it was probably leftover surveillance from the motel's previous owner. But Louis couldn't forget the reflection that moved late. He still swears when he closes his eyes he sees himself standing in that mirror, but blinking a second too slow. Some say paranoia drives truckers crazy. Long nights and caffeine can invent ghosts. But the next file in my archive wasn't about caffeine. It was about sound, the kind that doesn't exist until you record it. Case 5 began inside a downtown security booth, where a man heard his own voice long after he'd stopped speaking. Case 5, the voice on Channel 7. The next story came from a night shift guard named Eddie Miller. He worked in a 30-floor office tower downtown, the kind that never really sleeps. His job was simple: monitor cameras, log deliveries, and listen for alarms. But sometimes silence hides louder things than any siren. Eddie had done the shift for 8 years, same desk, same coffee, same dead hours between 2 and 4. The monitors buzzed quietly, 6 feeds in grainy black and white. Channel 7 showed the underground parking deck, rows of cars sleeping in metallic stillness. He'd glance at it every few minutes, just habit. Around 3 a.m. he heard something faint from the console speaker, a whisper under the static, like breath brushing the mic. He muted all channels, then unmuted 7. The whisper came again, then formed a word. Eddie. He froze. No one called him that except the morning staff, and they weren't due for 3 more hours. He rewound the DVR 10 seconds. Nothing. Just empty garage, until he pressed play again. Eddie, the voice repeated, clear this time, almost gentle. But the speakers were muted. He'd muted them himself. He yanked out the headset jack. The whisper didn't stop. It came from inside the console, faint and tinny. Then, layered beneath his own heartbeat, he heard another sentence. Stop recording. He turned every monitor off. The sound kept going, bouncing through the dark booth like water dripping in pipes. Stop recording, stop recording. Eddie went down to the garage to prove he wasn't losing it. His boots echoed against concrete. The air smelled like oil and coal dust. He spoke out loud, if someone's here, this isn't funny. His voice came back distorted through the intercom speaker beside the elevator, half-second delay, same tone. His voice. He pulled the plug from the wall. The speaker went silent. Then, click, every overhead light in the deck shut off at once. The elevator chimed softly. Doors opened on the far side. He aimed his flashlight. Inside was empty, except for a security monitor mounted in the corner showing Channel 7 live. On the feed stood himself, but turned slightly toward the camera, mouth open, whispering. Eddie stumbled back. The elevator doors closed, leaving the faint hiss of feedback. When power returned 5 minutes later, every recording from Channel 7 between 2:50 and 3:10 was corrupted, black frames, audio intact. The only sound on that tape is him saying his own name over and over. I reviewed that tape myself. The audio spectrogram forms a shape that looks like a face, lines like eyes and a mouth repeating the word listen. Some call it digital bleed, others something older learning how to speak through wires. Either way, the next file makes it clear. It's not just sound that follows you. Sometimes, it's breath. Hospitals are built to hold life, but at night, they sound more like they're trying to remember it. Case 6 came from a nurse named Renee Carter, who worked the overnight shift at St. Miriam's Hospital in Denver. Her story was recorded only once, right before she quit for good. It was early winter, the storm outside thick enough to swallow the city skyline. Power flickered twice before cutting completely. Emergency lights bathed the halls in dull red. and backup generators hummed like low growls. Renee was assigned to the 10th floor, long-term recovery. 10 patients, 9 rooms, and 1 room sealed since the renovation fire 2 years earlier. Room 1029. She heard it first, 3 slow knocks from behind the door. Then silence. The patient log showed no one registered there. Still, she called out, "Maintenance? You need help?" No answer. Just one more knock, louder this time. She used her master key. The door groaned open, the smell of antiseptic and smoke still lingering. The room was stripped bare except for an empty bed frame and an unplugged heart monitor. The blackout had killed all the power, yet the monitor blinked once, green light, 1 pulse. On the wall, faint outlines of old burn marks trailed upward, curling like fingers. Then, through her earpiece, she heard it, a patient whispering. "Nurse Carter, room 29. But the voice came from her own ID badge speaker, not the radio. She ran to the hallway, calling for backup. The floor was empty. Every emergency phone line dead. She turned and saw the reflection of the room behind her in the polished elevator doors. In the reflection, the bed wasn't empty. A shape was lying there, pale, motionless. She spun around. The bed was still empty. But when she turned back, the reflection leaned upward. A man in a hospital gown, mouth blackened with soot. His eyes opened and locked onto hers through the reflection. His lips moved. "You left me here." She stumbled backward. The heart monitor in the empty room began beeping, fast, frantic. The power flickered back on across the hospital, lights snapping awake. But room 1029 stayed dark. When security arrived, they found Renee unconscious near the elevator. Her ID badge had melted against her uniform, letters scorched into plastic. The pattern spelled 29. 3 cases, 3 different cities. But every recording file came stamped with the same timestamp, 3:03 a.m. And on the spectrogram of each, hidden inside the noise, the same pulse pattern appeared. 1 heartbeat. Then silence. Then a whisper. Some investigators think it's just cross-contaminated frequencies, cheap recording gear catching interference from radio towers. Others say it's something else entirely. A signal. A message. From what? No one knows. The files came to me anonymously, each stamped with 1 line of text. They never knocked twice. But lately, I've been hearing knocks on my own wall, 3 of them every night before I record. Maybe it's pipes. Maybe it's nothing. Still, if you're hearing this, check your walls tonight. And if something knocks back, don't open the door. They never knock twice.